Hello, and welcome to the Career and Leadership Development Center's Understanding Ethics and Values virtual workshop. Knowing how your values and ethics can influence your actions is the key to self awareness. By engaging in this virtual workshop, you will get a chance to delve more deeply into the gray of ethical leadership and learn the power values can have in decision making, as well as the way ethics drive our multidimensional community. In the CLDC, we house our leadership training in the social change model of leadership because it was created with the college undergraduate in mind. According to this leadership theory, the keys to creating positive social change is by working collaboratively, understanding your and your group's values, and always be considerate of how you, your group, and your community will be involved in the change you plan to lead. According to the social change model of leadership, individual values play a large role in the way a leader can begin to work towards positive social change. Individual values are a driving force in how you interact with others and how to overcome obstacles when it comes to empathy. Knowing yourself is the most important tool in beginning the journey of understanding others. Let's discuss personal values a little more in detail. The general definition of values can be seen in the sentence listed on your screen. Values are those core beliefs that guide and motivate your attitudes and actions. The definition of values that we use in the CLDC are as follows. Values are qualities that you deem important. They are individualized and vary from person to person and based on life experiences and personal beliefs. Do you already know your top values? How does having a different value affect your communication with others? How have your different experiences affected the values that you used to have? Thinking deeply about your personal values can sometimes be a difficult place to start if you've never thought about them before. So let's start with something outside of your own experiences to begin this discussion of values. Let's start with looking at a few examples of organizational values that are more prominent in your world. When looking at this picture that connects with the Walt Disney Company, what can you immediately imagine are their values? How do you know? How do they market their values? Let's look at the Walt Disney Company's values that they list on their mission statement: imagination, creativity, diversity, happiness, entertainment, and customer service. Did any of these words come to your mind when you first saw the name and picture on the previous slide? In most instances, organizations not only know, but also live by their values. Let's look at another example that may be closer to home. What do you think Ohio University's values are? How do you know? How does Ohio University market its values to you as a member of the community? Let's take a look at what we know are Ohio University's values. As you see on the screen, these are Ohio University's values, often referred to as the 5 C's: character, community, commitment, civility, and citizenship. How do you see students, faculty, and staff living these values? Do you feel you live these values as a member of our Ohio community? Which values seem to stand out away from others on this list as something you see more regularly in our community? It's important to recognize that values play a large role in not only what you think or believe, but also in the way you interact with others and engage in your community. Now that we have thought through some organizational values, let's get back to you and think more deeply about what you value as an individual. For this activity, you will need to refer to the worksheet that corresponds with this video. The title of this worksheet is Values Sort Worksheet. For the next few minutes, you are going to reflect on your values and now narrow down your list to your top 5 core values. Before you move on in this video, take a few minutes to pause and circle all of the values you feel are most important to you on this worksheet. Pause this video now to circle those items. Next, let's narrow this list a little. Pause this video now to begin narrowing to your top 15. Just a few more times and we will have your list down to your top 5. Now pause this video to narrow your top 15 to your top 10 values. Finally, narrow your top 10 list to your top 5. This is when you have to make some compromises and think deeply about what values mean more to you that you feel drive you and your interactions with others. Pause this video now to narrow to your top 5. Congratulations! You have successfully narrowed down to your core values. These are values that you don't ever compromise and are often at the core of how you make small and large decisions in your life. As we discussed earlier, your individual values play a large role in how you interact with others and begin to think through creating social change. Another area of values that plays an important role in social change is community values. It's important to understand what your community values in order to know how you fit into your community as a leader and lead effectively to create positive change. Now that you have learned about individual values, we are going to go over ethics, which are directly influenced and created from community values. Ethics are societal value judgments, codes, or rules to live by according to an individual's community. Let's think about some of the codes of ethics you may already know. Some of these are more common than others or are used more frequently in some circles. For example, have you heard of the Hippocratic Oath or the Golden Rule? How about the Bro Code or the Girl Scout or Boy Scout Code of Honor? All of these things are codes that are socially constructed, but they often drive the way our society reacts or engages with us. Knowing your own society's ethics can play a large role in the way you engage as a leader or try to create social change that may go against these ethics in some way. Now, let's dig a little deeper into one of these codes, the Golden Rule. According to the Golden Rule, you should treat others the way you would want to be treated. We are going to read a case study to help us think about this code of ethics, the Golden Rule. Avery works for a boss who believes strongly in the Golden Rule. Sometimes opportunities arise where her boss can send employees out of state for the weekend to meet with potential clients. Avery's boss thinks that everyone will appreciate this opportunity because it can help her employees gain clients, which will help her and the company make more money. However, Avery's boss does not take into consideration that everyone might not value money and these opportunities. Avery is a single parent, and every time she is asked by her boss to meet potential clients out of state, she must find a babysitter for the weekend, and she values her time with family over money. What are some things that Avery's boss could do differently to consider her employees' values? How are Avery's boss's values impeding on her own? What could Avery do to advocate for her own values in this situation? How ethical would it be if Avery's boss continued to ignore Avery's values after knowing the difference in their two values? When thinking about the way some people interpret ethics or societal norms and rules versus the way you may think about them, it's important to be critical and have empathy. There are some ethics that may even go against your own values, in which case you will need to determine if you want to continue to be a part of that community or advocate for change. This is a big part of what it takes to be an ethical leader. Let's go over some of the principles of ethical leadership and how this pertains to your personal values and your community's ethics. Ethical leadership is an application of values and ethics to leadership that are grounded in current ethical leadership theories. These principles include respecting others, serving others, showing justice, manifesting honesty, and building community. Finally, let's take a few seconds to review what we have discussed today in this video. We know that values are created from personal beliefs and adapted from personal experiences. Ethics are societal norms and values driven by your community, often codes to live by. However, there is a balancing act between personal values and the ethics of your society. Making sure you are aware of them personally and from a broader perspective can help you make more informed decisions and act appropriately depending on where you are and the situations you find yourself in while at Ohio University and beyond. A strong ethical leader keeps in mind their personal values as well as the ethics of their community before making decisions that will affect their constituency. And remember, being a leader is not just about power, but about the responsibility of what comes with that power through respect, service, justice, honesty, and building community within a group. If you would like to speak with a coach in the CLDC to virtually discuss your career and leadership goals and experiences, we are available to have these discussions with you in a 30-minute session. You can schedule these appointments using the Handshake platform. You can log into Handshake at ohio.joinhandshake.com. Once logged in with your Ohio University email and password, click on Career Center on the top bar of the Handshake homepage, and then click on Appointments. We look forward to hearing from you soon, and go Bobcats!